I need to catch up to speed with what's been going on in the cloud gaming space and inform you all of some of the biggest news that's been happening. And right now, there's one topic on my mind that really needs to be discussed. Some of you may or may not be aware, but Ubisoft Connect is currently running a technical test that ends today, testing out their own cloud gaming service. It's a relatively small test that only allows 10,000 eligible users who reside within the United States and the United Kingdom to try and play Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora via their new streaming service. Now, I haven't been able to try it out myself as I reside in Canada, and that's outside of the available regions, but I don't really want to focus on that right now. Instead, I want to pose the question, when is enough enough? And I'm talking about cloud gaming services as a whole. I mean, think about it. Do we really need Ubisoft to have their own cloud gaming service when they're pretty much on every major cloud gaming service out there right now? And more importantly, does them opening up their own cloud gaming service mean that they may focus on that rather than supporting the rest? It really is a bit of a slippery slope, isn't it? But it's one that can probably get a lot worse before it gets any better. I mean, just think about it. Even today, here and now, we already have a lot of major companies involved in the space, be it Amazon, Xbox, Nvidia, PlayStation, even Netflix. And that's just listing the popular cloud gaming services out there. I can name a ton more, such as Boosteroid, Shadow, AirGPU, CloudDeck, Blacknut, Utomic, Ubitus, Maximum Settings, HighScore, and even more than that. And many of those names I'm sure are new to many of you listening to this video, because they are a smaller subset of companies that serve certain regions or specific niches. Some of them definitely bigger and more notable than others, but let's be real here, compared to the big players in the space, are still considered pretty small scale. And that's not a knock by any means. I have no issue with all these services existing. In fact, if anything, I encourage it because I truly do believe that more competition leads to more innovation and better pricing for us end consumers. But Ubisoft trying to enter the fray with their own thing, that starts to worry me. And that's because gaming publishers joining with their own cloud gaming services is something that I think will lead to issues. And maybe you didn't know this, but Ubisoft's far from the only gaming publisher who's shown interest in doing their own cloud gaming service. Looking at you, EA. And my concern is very simple. If these major third-party players start protecting their own games like their own catalog of exclusive software to sell their cloud gaming services, we're gonna have a lot of problems because there's gonna be a lot less available options. And to be very clear, Ubisoft hasn't said this is going to happen or even suggested that this might be the case. In fact, if anything, they've been very vocal about supporting every cloud gaming service out there that they do. But I could totally see other gaming publishers doing this exact thing. EA comes to mind. Most of their games aren't available throughout every single cloud gaming service out there. Not to mention, their new games rarely have day one compatibility with any cloud gaming service, period. EA and Ubisoft aren't the only ones who deserve a mention here either. MiHoYo, the creators behind Genshin, also have a cloud service specifically just for Genshin Impact. And it's probably going to expand across their catalog of games, which makes sense. Let's also not forget that Square Enix once also had cloud gaming ambitions of their own with Shinra Technologies, a project they ended up shuttering not long ago. But who's to say they won't just follow Ubisoft and use AWS themselves in the future? I think what I'm really trying to get at with this video is that here and now, none of this is a real concern, but it's something that can be a slippery slope and we may see in the future. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather not have a bunch of different subscriptions or access a bunch of different services just to play the cloud gaming experiences I want to play. I've said it from the very start and I'll continue to say it to this day. Cloud gaming is best when we can make the choice ourselves. By the very nature of how it works today, everyone who tries out a service is going to have a different experience from the other person because a lot of factors come into play on how good their connection is. So locking games behind certain services is definitely a no-go for me. And if said practice does ever come into play, which wouldn't surprise me either, I do hope us as cloud gamers are vocal about it. Now before signing off, I do think there is one last little detail that does need to be discussed here, and that's one that revolves around Ubisoft owning the cloud streaming rights to Activision Blizzard titles. This is something that transpired during the merger of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, and it's something worth noting and can have some interesting repercussions in the future. Remember, in their own words, Ubisoft did state that with a single subscription, Ubisoft Plus Multi-Access, players will soon be able to play their favorite Ubisoft games and stream their favorite Activision Blizzard games across multiple platforms including PC, Xbox, Amazon Luna, and PlayStation platforms through Ubisoft Plus Classics. The agreement will offer players even greater access to a large library of beloved and classic titles as well as the newest releases all through cloud streaming. So let's hope that Ubisoft continues to play nice with everybody because we may have an issue on our hands here if they ever decide not to. After all, because of that deal, they own these rights for 15 years, which is quite some time to say the least. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think Ubisoft will play nice throughout? Do you worry about other other players getting involved and maybe making their titles exclusive to their service? Let me know down in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed or found this video helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out. And if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. And as always, thank you for watching the video. I hope you have a great day. This has been Steven from Anytime Anywhere Gaming, giving you the latest and greatest on everything cloud gaming related, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.